We begin the news at this hour. In West Africa, where rights activist Omoyele Sowore has called for the resignation of Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. Sowore, during a town hall meeting at the Akure City Hall, expressed concerns over Akeredolu's continuation in office despite reported health challenges and criticized the governor's receipt of a security vote while being absent from the state. He challenged the House of Assembly to publicly present the letter purportedly written by Governor Akeredolu for his medical leave to confirm its authenticity. Addressing the political impasse and its detrimental impact on development, Sowore highlighted the necessity for citizens to defend their constitutional rights.
We also promised that the governor must hand over power whichever way. That has also been done, but we are not satisfied with the way power has been handed over. This is the 419 handover that they have done. We want the proper invocation of doctrine of necessity so that Akeredolu can go and take care of his health. And I want to also send a message to the president of Nigeria, their president now, that Ondo State is not an appendage of Aso Rock. So he has no right to dictate to the people of Ondo State how to run their...
Dr. Charles Oludare, a political analyst and an indigene of Ondo State, joins us from Texas, United States. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Oludare.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now, great. Let's get to it. Do you think the continued call for Governor Akeredolu's resignation is still justified at this point, despite already transferring power to his deputy?
Thanks for that question. What I would say is that the person agitating for this, Omoyele Sowore, I think he is just an attention-seeking rabble-rouser. He is Mr. Bombastic that is not really selling anything fantastic. You see, he talks about constitutional rights of the people being infringed. You can say that they should follow the Constitution, but there is no constitutional rights being infringed. That is just wrong. And then the doctrine of necessity does not even, exist in the Nigerian Constitution. So we can say that, Sowore is trying to look for a short answer to legacy problems and finds the simplest explanation for, the most complex situations. In this kind of case, I can understand the people who are calling for the governor to, resign. But on your show, while he was being interviewed, Sowore mentioned that maybe the governor cannot even recognize that he cannot, continue. So how do you want someone who you have categorized as being in that state to then resign, which is a voluntary action that he needs to do? The Constitution in Section 189 has stated what should be done in a case like this, whereby the Executive Council two-thirds need to vote and then transmit that to the National Assembly, State House of Assembly, and then they set up a panel. However, that is not being done because of the way the situation is. So in the art of problem solving, you have to be nuanced. You have to be able to understand the fact that the current executive councillor in Ondo State don't want to go through that way. And the National Assembly also has no appetite for investigating the situation of health of the governor. So that is why you have to proceed. There is no such thing as perfection in life. The Constitution, even that of the United States, is not a perfect document. The Section 189 that we are talking about was copying, amendment, 25th Amendment of the United States in terms of plan for transition of power. But even that is not perfect. So what subsists in this state right now is enough, in my own Ondo State right now, is enough to maintain the peace and keep the wheels of governance going. That is why there is an acting governor right now. So there is nothing lagging. And we pray for Governor Akeredolu's recovery. And if he recovers, we don't know, nobody knows the state. If he recovers, when he recovers, he'll come back to the state. If he doesn't recover, God forbid it's the other outcome, then you proceed to the next level. That one would have been already determined. But for Sowore to be trying to come back to Ondo State and raise ruckus, I guess this is him probably trying to cut his presidential ambitions and focus on Ondo State.
Let's look at some of the details here. Now, let's look at the purported letter that's for medical leave. Sowore seems not to believe that this letter is written by or was written by the governor. According to him, such a letter does not exist. Now, would you say this is coming from a true concern for governance, in the state, or just mere politicking? Now, vis-a-vis the fact that there are also allegations that before the governor even did hand over, what I call it, governance duties to his deputy, there were also allegations of his signature being forged.
Yes, so you can raise allegations, suspicion that someone who is incapacitated cannot sign, and so let that be, investigated. That is a justifiable, question that you can ask. That okay, we don't believe he signed this document. So what if he used an e-signature? Well, did he put in his password in the e-signature? You can ask all those questions. But the most important thing is that a letter has been transmitted to the National Assembly by the governor, and his deputy has been made acting. The issue of forgery is also valid. That should be investigated. That should be investigated up to the T. Let us know everything that happened during that course. Those are valid situations. But when you try to now start, being so cantankerous and raising a lot of dust about a governor to who the state people actually have sympathy for, they want him to get better. You are not trying to call him to resign just after a resolution has been reached that is, maintaining the peace for now. I mean, I think that is just strict politicking. Sowore wants to focus on Ondo State politics after his failed sojourn in the national politics. That is why he is coming to Ondo State right now to try to disturb the peace.
Let's go beyond Sowore right now.
Because the people celebrated this.
Okay. Let's go beyond Sowore right now. Let's look at the governor's, the deputy governor's current capacity as the acting governor. Some of the opinion that his powers to some extent might be limited. Hence, the reason for calls that the current governor, resigns so that he can face his health, and then the deputy assumes full capacity as governor and not in acting capacity. Now, do you think there is some sort of dichotomy in terms of being in acting capacity as a governor and also being the full governor? And how do you think this can also affect governance in the state?
The only difference will be that in an acting capacity, should the governor come back, he reclaims his position. The other alternative will be that he has no chance to come back again. So that is the only thing. When according to the Constitution, when you are in acting capacity, you are essentially the governor. You can do everything. Now, yes, we can say that the first time he was made acting, they said he didn't have the right to sign some checks, and all those were part of the rumors at the time. And that is up to the person who is acting to live up to the position that he is in. It is not, it is not like the governance of the state is suffering. The governor currently does not have the ability to govern the state. The acting has stepped in. That is the reason why he is there. And let us hope for the best. Let's let the sleeping dog for now lie, and we let the rules of the state function. At least if there was, an actionable or an evidence of a lapse in governance, then we can say, oh, maybe we need to change something. But for now, Ondo State has been through a lot. This is the festive season. There's a budget to be packed. There are salaries to be paid. There are, developmental projects to continue. So this tranquility that we have right now should be allowed to maintain for now. For now, anything can change. God forbid Governor Akeredolu does not survive this. That has changed the equation. We pray that he survives this. That will also change the equation. But for now, the wheels of the state is moving. The show is going on. Let us not disturb the peace of the state. The people have been through a lot. It is going to be a lot of psychological, burden on them. It is even going to affect, trying to cause another ruckus to the state right now. We will affect the economic progress and development of the state, because people will now still be faced with uncertainty. There's a certainty right now that there's an acting governor, and he will be there until Governor Akeredolu is physically able to come back to the state, show himself, and continue the governance. So that is enough for now. We cannot, always get perfection. Whatever approximates that perfection, we should make do with it. Doctors know this all the time. You can, when you are, there's already a scar. If Governor Akeredolu was never sick, this will not be a situation. So we are dealing with the situation as is. So let us not be idealistic and be realistic. The process of the Constitution, we know it. I stated it earlier. The people in power are unwilling to do it. So maybe the solution will be a long-term solution whereby we go and amend our constitution and say maybe after 3 months, if an executive member has not been found in public, then automatically the Speaker of the House of Assembly or the National Assembly will set up a panel after 3 months. Now you know that the clock starts running once they've not seen him for 3 months. And then it is no longer up to the whims and caprices of political actors who might have their own axe to grind. It is now the Constitution has stated it clearly. That would be a way to clearly set up this thing and solve this thing on the long term, not to try to cause problem on the short term.
I mean, I just want you to quickly, I would like to know your opinion on this. Do you see all of the crisis happening in Ondo State? Is there any link to all of this impasse happening, vis-a-vis the 2024 governorship elections that is just around the corner? I mean, there are talks that the current, acting governor, who of course is the deputy of Akeredolu, also has ambition. Are there links in any way in all of this?
That is the alpha and omega of this whole crisis. The fact that the deputy governor has an ambition. I think the SSG has an ambition. The commissioner of finance has an ambition. So many people have ambitions, and they believe in their own mind. Their phantom idea is that if the deputy governor has the power of the governor, then he will be able to muzzle the direction of the primaries. But what they are failing to recognize is that Ondo State is an independently voting state. And I'll give you an example. In 2015, Ondo State voted for Buhari. Then 2 weeks later, in the National Assembly, they voted PDP to support Mimiko, the governor. Ondo State voted for Atiku in 2019 and then voted Akeredolu the next year. Ondo State, so you cannot be, because of your own short-term myopic perspective, try to upend the progress of the state. That is their problem because of the next year's election. And it is only God that knows the future. So they are just being uncouth and they think they are playing Game of Thrones, but what they are playing is Squid Games, because these people that think they are on the same side right now, fast forward, let's assume they were able to knock at the deputy governor, the acting governor out on the side. They will now start fighting each other. They will not be in a circular firing squad. So they need to be a lot more nuanced and be a lot more complex in their thinking and not be simple to the point of view whereby they now started using their own hands to document evidence of their own crime in form of a forgery. So it is the next year's election. And I also want to provide a solution to this. Let us change the delegate economy. Let all card-carrying members of a political party vote in the primaries on all political parties. Then nobody will be looking to gain undue influence or undue advantage. And then the democracy will be truly representative, will be a true representation of the will of the people.
All right.
So that is what I think can solve this problem on the long term, not short.
All right. Dr. Charles Oludare, a political analyst and, of course, an indigene of Ondo State, joining from Texas, the United States. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks a lot for having me.